By the way, I got my Life of Chuck ticket.
Oh, nice.
For a second, I thought it wasn't playing here at all. And I was like, you said you would. And it was like way at the bottom of AMC's website, like below Minecraft.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Below Minecraft, which has been out for months.
Yes. Yeah. It's like they're put it up at the top. It's a new release.
Right. Come on, y'all.
I don't know what that's all about.
Well, we gotta advertise the chicken jockey.
Gotta get the chicken jockey.
I don't even know what the chicken jockey is. I just know that it exists.
My kids don't think I'm aware of that. And so they're like trying not, they're, it's funny. They're like, don't worry about it, Dad. And I was like, what is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
They think I'm so fucking stupid.
What's a Minecraft?
Yeah. All right. Well, hello, Dustin. We're here for a quick turnaround episode here this week. So yeah. All right. No beating around the bush. So because that would be weird for me to say what I just said and then not get to it. So we're going to talk about Ballerina.
Ballerina.
To stop the assassin, you must become the assassin. You will always be weaker. You will always be smaller. You want to win? Improvise. Adapt. Cheat.
Welcome to the Continental.
Eve Macaro of the Roscaroma. What a pleasure to see you again. You have no idea what you just walked into.
They killed my father. This isn't done until they're dead.
Fate is a very humbling thing.
You are him. The one they call the Baba Yaga. How do I start doing what you do?
Looks like you already have.
All right. Ballerina is the fifth film, I suppose, in the now existent John Wick universe, cinematic universe, the Jwiku.
Yes.
Jwiku. Yeah. So, wasn't there like a Continental show or something? Is that still a thing?
Yeah. It's for NBC or for Peacock or something.
Is that still airing?
No, I think it's done. I think it was a little mini series. 3 episodes.
And it's just done?
3 episodes and done.
Weird. Okay.
Wow, it was in 2023. That's so long ago.
I know.
But no, I never watched it.
Yeah, I didn't either. Oh well.
I heard it was.
I'm more inclined to having branched off of Wick as the main character, like we have now with this movie. Mm-hmm. This has also been marketed. I mean, it's the name of the movie, not in Wikipedia, but like everywhere else, is From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. I refuse to call it that because that's stupid.
Yeah, that's such a wordy title.
I get it. So yeah, From the World of John Wick. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you can't call it John Wick Ballerina, but like, can't we just do Ballerina a John Wick story? No, it's not really a John Wick story. All right, whatever. I don't know. There's no fixing the title. Sorry, everybody.
Just call it Ballerina.
It's just called Ballerina. People know what it is.
People know what it is.
Right. This is the movie directed by Len Wiseman, written by Shay Haddon, who was one of the writers for John Wick 3 and 4. And starring Ana de Armas, Angelica Houston, Gabriel Byrne, Lance Reddick in his final screen role, actually, which was very
RIP.
surprising. Yeah. I didn't realize that it was this. So crazy.
Yeah.
Norman Reedus is in this movie. Not as much as you would think. And Ian McShane. And as people probably know, Keanu Reeves is in this movie. All these people are on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were like, is that Gabriel Byrne?
Yeah.
You were right.
Yep.
Don't know who you are, but you win.
All
right.
You win the award.
So this is a spin-off movie. This movie takes place between John Wick 3 and John Wick 4. And it's really only relevant in that sense, just so that people don't get confused and think, why is John Wick here? Why haven't events of chapter 4 happened to him? Because they haven't happened yet. Otherwise, it's fairly unimportant when this occurs. It's just they did the work to actually tell you this is when it is, which is nice. It's more than Fox ever did for any movie featuring the X-Men.
Right. Yeah.
So Ana de Armas is the titular character here, the ballerina, Eve Macaro, who, is raised in the world of being a assassin / dancer and goes on a mission, basically. Yep. That's the plot. It's all you're here for. There's nothing that much more complex, except the world that she is operating within is the John Wick universe. So you've got the Continental, you've got those gold coins, you've got factions of assassin gangs and those cool tattooed cigarette ladies who operate the switchboard. All that. And of course, what you can expect from the movie is the action choreography that you've become accustomed to from the other John Wick movies. All right, Dustin, I've been wordy, so I'll reserve my spiel for after your spiel. What is your spiel on this movie?
So I think I said this when we reviewed John Wick 4. I'm pretty sure I said it on the show. I'm positive I said it on Letterboxd. This is a film series that defies critical analysis because it exists. Yes, it's a film, and yes, it tells a story, but it's also like a showcase of choreography and physical stunt work. And so to that end, if all the film is really trying to be is impressive in that way, and the story itself is not necessary, like it's important in that it serves to get the action going, but it is not in and of itself like a story film, if that makes sense. Yeah. If the film is not really trying to be that, is it fair to analyze it as such and say, well, the film's plot is shallow or the characters are shallow? And it feels weird to do that to me. Like, obviously I'm a story guy and I like a story to obey structure and, give me the feels and get me entangled in that way. But the John Wick stories, the John Wick films get me entangled in a different way, which is watching something really impressive unfold before me. And there's enough story and enough character to keep me gripped, but that's really not what I'm there for. And so it's a weird thing to then sit back and go, but the story's shallow. So I don't. And so to that end, this film falls into that category. It's exactly what you said. The story is basic. It's, not necessarily breaking new ground. The characters aren't necessarily doing anything hyper complex. So really, this is a showcase of stunt work, choreography, action effects, that sort of thing. And to that end, it is a total success. So when you judge the film and say, well, what we normally do, how many stars are you going to give it? For me, the stars are not comparable to something like Citizen Kane, right? Or it's not comparable to The Godfather. It's not comparable to, what we typically do on the show, which is talk about the intricacies of plot mechanics and structure and why character arcs are or are not effective. Instead, it is doing very well exactly what it sets out to do and leaving behind all the things that it doesn't want to worry itself with. So to me, I gave this 4 stars. I think probably it's 3.5, only because I think I like it less than the Wick movies. And I think I'm pretty much at 4 stars for all of the Wick movies. Even though I like them to varying degrees, they're all like right there. So if you want to call it like 4, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, fine. But like for me, like they're all 4-star films. And so this I like probably less than all the others, but not by much. So it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to lump it in and say 4 stars for all the John Wick films, including From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. And if only because it succeeds in exactly what it sets out to do and doesn't worry itself with other things.
So I went in with low expectations, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the movie. It feels like a John Wick film, but not so much like it as to not feel original. Sure. There are moments in here which felt very 2000s-ish, which, being directed by the guy who directed Underworld. But for the most part, the action choreography felt Wickish. But not just a retread of Keanu Reeves's like signature moves. Yes. I think the stunt team here did a really great job crafting Eve's fighting style as a small statured woman. Like that was paid attention to, because that's something
and
that
referenced in the film.
And bros have no excuse to hate this movie, this make-believe movie, for lack of believability, because half the film is Ana de Armas getting the shit knocked out of her because she's so small. I wanted to
talk about that. Yeah.
So I would watch more of these.
I would too.
And I was against this movie. So as usual, I fail to give the film the benefit of the doubt to truly know myself and to know what will satisfy me and make me enjoy living life. I am a lost and directionless soul.
I was never against this movie. I really wanted this movie to be really good.
When they announced it, I was like, please don't do this. But then later I was like, well, what do you want? Do you want John Wick 5? And I was like, nah, not really. No. Make spinoffs. That's fine. Never mind. Yeah, Shut up, me.
Quiet me. I do like, I was never against this. I just had low expectations even still, because I was like, it's not going to be John Wick. It's going to be a lesser, a watered down version. And I don't really know that that's true. I mean, you can tell it's directed by someone different.
Yeah, at times. But at other times, during some of these fights, it was just as good as the John Wick scenes. Like the same, like you can tell that, is Chad Stahelski a producer on this?
I think so.
Yeah, of course he is. So I imagine that a fair amount of that is, hey, we would like for there to be somewhat of a house style on the fight choreography. Like we would like long takes. Please don't super chop this. That would be stupid. Why do you want to make a John Wick movie and then completely throw out the style? Right. But other stuff, like we're not going to tell you how to structure the film or whatever, but the fights should kind of follow that style, because that is what we as a stunt team are trying to push and popularize within the industry, is long takes, creative camera work, creative use of the space. And, and Eve has even more reason than John Wick does to improvise with the space more, because she's just a smaller person and can't just rely on brute strength or, stuff like that. So,
well, and this is in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, but John Wick is obviously in this film.
Yes.
So it would have been weird too to use a different style of filmmaking for this film and then feature him.
Yeah.
So I think they knew, like, we have to adhere to the style because John Wick is in the film. If he wasn't, then sure, maybe they would have had more freedom. But surely somewhere along the line, somebody said, you can't film John Wick in this way. It's, so, okay, well then the whole film has to adhere to the cinematic language established in the 4 John Wick films.
Which I appreciate. Like that's,
I did too.
Again, like this is not a typical standalone film. If you're going to have a film universe, there needs to be some continuity, or people are going to be saying like, this is way worse, and they will have reason to say so. I guarantee you there's going to be people who review bomb this just because it features a woman. But first of all the word of mouth I've heard was how good it is. And there's just too many things that were paid attention to in the filmmaking that just can prevent an honest person from saying that it somehow falls short of John Wick, other than just, I like Keanu Reeves and I want to watch Keanu Reeves, which is not the film's fault.
It's not. And I've always said this, like, the John Wick films succeed because of Keanu Reeves and in spite of him. And it's because he's so charismatic and because he's so good at the choreography that it succeeds. Yeah. But they also succeed in spite of the fact that he's not the most versatile actor.
Right.
He, you know, and in spite of, you know, whatever limitations he may bring, which every actor brings some level of limitation. But regardless, whatever limitation he may bring, the film succeeds in spite of him because it knows how to utilize him. And so, yeah, like anybody who looks at it and goes, well, I'm not interested in a Wick movie or, you know, this world without him. I'm going, but yes, he is the style and the franchise, but what about him is irreplaceable? You know what I mean? Like, why couldn't you just have another character doing what similar things? Yeah. The whole point is that there's this whole underground world of assassins.
Yes.
Couldn't we follow any one of them?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was the world is our world and John Wick is in it and he's some supernatural, you know, feat, great. But theoretically, everybody who fights John is at least to some level his equal.
Yes.
And so what about John is irreplaceable? I don't know. I don't really think anything. And I think if you're honest with yourself and you don't like this just on the sheer fact that it's not John Wick, maybe you just don't like the fact that it's not Keanu, or maybe you just don't like the fact that it's a woman. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but you need to search yourself.
Yeah, man, I certainly recommend people see this in the theaters. I mean, not only is it just, you know, it's a great time, but it holds up against the other Wick films to me. And enough to where like I wouldn't like skip it on like a series rewatch. I'd be like, oh, cool. Yeah. And then there was this, you know, this little story. It has all the stuff that I like. It has all of like the excessive like gunshots to the same body area. You know, it's got, you know, it's got improvised weapon usage. You know, someone gets, she throws an axe at somebody and that was cool.
Yeah, that was great.
You know, there's a lot of, again, I was watching this movie like, all right, as soon as she does something that I feel like isn't plausible, even within like movie language, then I'm going to remember it. And like with every scene, I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. Like that was good. That made sense. She's
continually overpowered. And so she has to adapt in a way that John Wick is never or rarely overpowered.
John has two things going for him. He's a taller, stronger man, and he has the mystique of the Baba Yaga. And so half the people who are trying to kill him are somewhat afraid of him.
Yes, correct.
You know, and everyone who's going up to fight her is underestimating her. So there's a lot more, which I don't know if that was like considered in the choreography, but I felt like I could intuit that with like, these people are a lot more aggressive right off the bat towards her. Yes. And I wonder if it's just the assumption that, well, I'm bigger than she is. I could probably get this done.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the one fight in the like ski lodge bar or whatever. Yeah. And it's like those people all felt like they could take her on and overpower her quickly. Yeah. But they also all felt like they knew that. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And that she knows it. Like she knows, because again, it's in the early part of the film. You're not going to be as strong as your opponent. You have to adapt. Don't fight by their rules.
Cheat.
Fight by yours. Cheat. Yeah. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do to survive.
Yeah. I think the film is funny in a lot of ways too. There's great comedy. Yeah. The dude next to me would not stop talking. He was one of those people who would be like, oh, he's not getting up. Like, you know, she kicks someone and she kicks, you know, several times in the film. Yeah. Someone gets shot or kicked in the scrotum. Yeah. And that guy would be like, oh, well, you're not having kids anytime soon. And
just that class clown over here.
It's like, It was just like things would happen and he'd be like, damn, just what'd you think was going to happen in this film,
Someone
sir?
call an ambulance for that guy.
Yeah, exactly. That must have hurt. That's gotta hurt,
Is there a doctor in the house?
Like, the man's dead. I got what I wanted, which is people going like, oh, like just There were like couples who were there. Like most of the audience, it seemed to me, was older than me.
Oh, okay.
And so like I like the couple to the other side of me, they were like in their 50s or 60s. Wow. And so like someone would get like shot in the face and the wife would be like, oh.
The twist is that wife thought this was a movie about a ballerina.
I thought there was gonna be like a recital, or her husband tricked her.
It started and she's like, oh, this is so nice.
This is great. Bang.
She's studying to be the best.
I think people should see this in theaters. I think it's if you love the other John Wick movies, this is a worthy addition. Like I said, I would watch more of these. And I think that this could be, not that they should, but like if there's a franchise you want to keep going or capitalize off of, do spinoffs of, this at least makes sense. This at least makes sense to me more than like, I can't think of any other examples because I purged them from my memory banks.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
This makes way more sense. And you could even do this with a third character. You could have someone else who like, and you don't even have to tie into how they know John Wick. They're just in the world. And that's any actor who has some, who wants to kind of sink their teeth into this kind of stunt work. And there's a lot of actors who love that. Yeah.
They're still working on that Donnie Yen spinoff, right?
Are they?
I thought so.
That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Let me see. Do they? Untitled Kane film. I do know this. The movie is not performing that great at the box office.
No, I wanted to talk about this.
What's up with that?
I don't know. So the film opening weekend made $24 million and it was projected at between 30 and 40. So it fell short. And if you compare that to John Wick 4, which I'm pulling up right now, its opening weekend was 73 million. So it's a lot lower than John Wick, which I think it's like assumed that this would make less than John Wick just because John Wick was the fourth installment. This is something new. There's not that like obligation of, well, I need to go see this. But I don't quite understand the $24 million opening. I think this is certainly worth more than that. I don't like it. It's a better film than that. So I don't understand its low marks. Lilo and Stitch holding on to number one for the third weekend in a row.
Golly.
Disney's going to take all the wrong messages from this. And they'll be announcing Stitch 2 soon, I bet. I don't know. Is it this time of year that like school's out for the summer? So parents are stuck with kids and they're not going out to see movies, except for family movies. I don't know. I'm not sure.
People could just be waiting for word of mouth. Like, I don't know. This is a spinoff. It's got a lady as the star. Maybe we don't want to see this. Let's wait and hear, and then you might have one or two friends who say like, no, that was pretty awesome actually. And then people go back. I want to see how it ends up doing on the second and third weeks. But
I was talking to somebody about this and they were like, I don't know if Ana de Armas is a star in the way that Keanu Reeves is. And I'm like, well, I don't know if she is in the way that Keanu Reeves is.
Right.
But I don't think she's not bankable. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'd say she's red hot right now, but like, I don't know. It can't be star power. And they even put Keanu in the trailer.
I know. He's in the trailers, on the poster.
I mean,
I can't imagine that Lionsgate's going to be like, never mind, no Ballerina sequel. Like, I'm pretty sure they will roll the dice on a second one.
I think they're going to be strategic about it because I think they did. Again, I could be wrong. Did they not also announce John Wick 5?
That's one of the ones that's in development. But this one, at least a couple of years ago, they said they plan to develop another, like a Ballerina 2 with Ana de Armas. So that's also in plans.
So maybe they'll roll the dice with Donnie Yen's film first. If you leave Keanu Reeves out of a Ballerina 2, then you don't have to pay him at least. But,
sure. Yeah.
But
yeah, they absolutely shouldn't have him in another one.
No, I agree. I think we're now past it. Yeah. I mean, this is the same with like legacy sequels and whatever, where you want to have the handoff and then let it be its own thing.
Let it be.
There's no reason to bring Keanu back for another one.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I absolutely would watch more of these. I think it's probably going to have to. So, according to Box Office Mojo, right now it's sitting at 52 million worldwide. Mm-hmm. So it's a good chance that it's going to break even. It may even bring in some profit, which is great, and it'll certainly do money on home video, and it'll undoubtedly bring some views in.
I'll definitely be buying this on Blu-ray.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it'll be on Peacock or wherever and push some traffic over there. So they'll get their money's worth out of it, but I think they're going to have to, I think they'll wait. And I think once they get that money back, then they'll announce the next thing.
Yeah.
But they're probably not going to do anything yet.
Yeah, I would certainly watch more of these for sure. I'm just addicted to this action style, and
Me too. It's And like we said, it is versatile. So Ballerina didn't work, let's do something else in the same world. You totally can. I absolutely would watch more of Ballerina. Mm-hmm. And I think, and speaking of more, the film's only like an hour and a half? Is it 2 hours?
I think it was 2 hours.
Fairly short, 2 hours, 4 minutes. Yeah. I absolutely would have watched more of this film. Had it been another half hour, I would have been fine with it. Yeah. So it's a rare example of I'm cool with it. I wasn't checking my watch at all during this.
Is that Ballerina?
That's Ballerina.
Woo. All right. I had an adjacent subject I wanted to discuss.
Okay.
After this, I've been saving this for a while, so this is no longer new news, but it's relevant.
Okay,
relevance counts. And there's not much to say about it, honestly. But some time ago, the Oscars announced that they're going to add the stunt design category.
Yes,
and we've been saying for years, as have anybody with a brain, adjacent to filmmaking, that should be done because it's a highly technical, highly specialized craft that absolutely, that's been a thing since the beginning of movies. There's films that Buster Keaton deserves and Charlie Chaplin deserve that award for. You know what I mean?
Totally.
That train and log shit that, come on, that should have been recognized. And
for sure,
that dude's rolling over in his grave in some kind of silent, funny way.
Yes, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's good.
It's hilarious and ahead of its time.
Movies like this are always ones that get me thinking about that subject.
Yeah,
and how much it deserves its own category, and I'm glad that's finally a thing, especially considering stories like what was it, Dane Radcliffe's stunt double, who is paralyzed because of the risks that are taken on those kinds of things. And it's just I first became aware of stunts as a craft, not just not just as a fun thing. And I paid attention to it when Iron Man 3 came out, because I extensively researched that Barrel of Monkeys sequence and the way that the stunt coordinator was talking about why they chose to do it that way and how and what exactly. And, and then of course, just the Mission Impossible films as you go. And it's just this is 40, 50% of the filmmaking of some films, Yeah.
Oh, 100%. What's always interesting to me about this is there's a group here in Atlanta that is a stunt group. And I met them some years ago, and, they are fantastic, and they're these really super talented, really physically agile, precise people, and they know so much about anatomy and the way that the body moves, what's safe, what's unsafe, what's the full extent of basically how far can we can we bend our bodies before they break?
Yeah.
It's so specialized and so it's so unique among filmmaking because it's putting your body at risk as opposed to, whatever it might be. But it absolutely deserves recognition, but by its very nature, it calls for anonymity.
Yeah.
And so it's a strange thing. And that's probably why it's been so long coming that like we all know stunt performers exist and we all know how valuable they are.
Yeah.
But they exist in this weird shadow realm where like they're there, but they're not really there because their faces are getting digitally replaced or, you know, the camera's just a little bit too far away to tell that that's not, Brad Pitt. But like it is absolutely, I think, the right thing to do to give the laurels to these people that truly deserve them. Because let's face it, like you said, it's a large part of a lot of these movies, but also it is these people. It's their talent that makes other people look very good.
Yeah.
And movies like Ballerina and like John Wick, they rely so heavily on like the previs development stage where all of these things are being worked out, and the way that they work these out, it's like, yeah, they sit down and they draw their plans and all of that, but sometimes they just show up to work and play and work it out on the day or work it out, a little bit before during rehearsals or whatever. And that's such an undervalued part of filmmaking because it is absolutely in service of making Keanu look very good or making the director look very skilled. But the truth is, it's just a highly skilled group of people that got together, had fun with their bodies, and everybody else benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm absolutely thrilled that it's going to get some recognition because, like you said, very technical, very precise. Like it's almost, I mean, there's a whole lot of it that's a lot more scientific than people would think. It's not just
100%.
Oh, like that guy's going to get pulled on a wire and thrown back. It's like you have to know what kind of wire. You have to know how to wire it up so the person doesn't get whiplash. You have to know when to pull it, where to leverage the weight, and then it's all timing. And timing is money and time. So like rehearsals, and it's just it's very, very, very strict and it's so precise, but they are born out of such like an organic, creative process. Like it's just people sitting there like, well, what if it was like that? And they just start crafting a scene, and you're like, how do you just decide to go that direction? And especially people like with the Wick films where you're tasked to like, okay, let's be a little bit more outside the box on this. Like, let's, this person's not like a superhero, but they are, they've got plot armor and they're very highly skilled. It's got to look overwhelming, but not unrealistic. Like that's, and we're going to do it in like a, 20-second unbroken take. Yeah. It's like, that's a lot, man. That's bravo. So.
Well, I watched on a hardwood floor, two guys, fist fight, and one of them get like picked up and flipped onto his back onto the hardwood floor. Ugh. And then just get up like it was nothing. Yeah. And it's like, dude, that had to have hurt, but it kind of like it didn't, because he explained it after. It's like, no, I know how to hit where it's not going to hurt.
I know how to fall.
I know how to take a fall. Yeah. And exactly, like it's so precise. I'm going to hit this part of my back on the floor and it's going to absorb whatever. I don't know how it does, how you do it, but like, it's crazy.
I don't know if this is true, but I always heard that the first thing they teach you in gymnastics is how to fall.
How to fall. Yes.
Yeah. How to fall without injuring yourself.
Yep.
And then how you become less afraid of falling so that, because you already know how to do it the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's nuts. So
it is.
Yeah. Well, good for them.
Good for them.
Beginning at the 100th Oscars.
Great.
It says. Yep.
Only took 100 years.
Only took a century.
Jeez. Well, when you put it like that. We need some retroactive awards.
The answer's in the question
Awards.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
100 years of films. For the first time ever, we'll recognize a department that's existed since film began.
Watch this first one's going to go, the award's going to go to Tom Cruise. And every stunt performer is going to go, are you kidding me?
I guess so. Yeah. Like, who do you award? Like, do you award the coordinators or just the producers again? Like, I don't know. Who gets the award? Can you imagine like a whole section of the Oscars that's just stunt crews?
Yeah.
Like sitting there, like wearing jeans, drinking beers. Like, everyone else was in tuxes and they were like talking about the power of cinema. You're just imagining
Hooper.
And that guy's like, he comes up and he's like, oh, it's fucking great being on this film. Just a great group of people, great group of guys.
He's wearing a football helmet.
Yeah, he's wearing. I'm just picturing like the most blue collar people ever going up there and just talking about like winches and like pulleys and stuff and
taking a huge pratfall on the stairs on the way down.
Yeah. I'd like to see anything they want to contribute to the broadcast. Can you imagine like a broadcast where they pretend to like blow up Conan O'Brien and they just yank him back?
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Conan would love that. 100% I would watch it if it was like, instead of like best stunt ensemble, whatever, however they're going to phrase this, if it was just like best fall, best kick.
Oh, dude, there should be a whole awards that's all stunts and stunt categories.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The stunties.
Yes, the stunties.
The blowies. The Yankees? No.
Yeah.
The pulley. There go the pulleys.
The pulleys.
The pulleys.
Yeah.
And the award is like just a golden...
A golden leg cast. A golden x-ray of a concussion.
A golden tray of broken teeth. All right. Well, that's it, everybody.
That's it.
Bye.
Goodbye.
I am a lost and directionless soul.